The first step surely has to be the hostages. There are at least 100 hostages, over 100 hostages still held by Hamas. The best reports suggest maybe half of those are dead and they're holding the bodies. We don't know for sure. But surely that has to be the starting point, the first demand for anybody looking at a ceasefire.
They should immediately release the hostages, and Hamas should surrender their weapons and cease fighting. And by lunchtime tomorrow, there would be no further fighting in Gaza if that were the case. No further fighting at all. But all the condemnation is directed at the Israelis and none of it at Hamas, and I think that's a disgraceful thing.
Well, tell us how this plays out, because this is much broader, obviously, than what the Australian government is saying. The Americans have been quite weak of late. The United Nations playing its usual games. Most of the international community focusing on Israel, putting pressure on Israel. How does that affect the outcomes? Would there be more chance of a better outcome if they directed a lot more of their rhetoric and actions at Hamas?
Of course. I mean, it's not going to make any difference to the Israelis what President Biden and particularly Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong say. It's not going to make any difference. This is an existential struggle for the Israelis. Hamas wants to destroy Israel and kill Jews. They don't make any secret of that, and they did it on the 7th of October. So it doesn't matter what these people say, these politicians say, for domestic political reasons. The Israelis have to win this war, and the war will be over as soon as Hamas surrenders and releases the hostages. It's as simple as that.
Just very quickly, the relationship between Australia and Israel, is it being damaged by this?
I mean, the Israelis won't care too much because ultimately they just have to win the war because it's an existential struggle. They'll just forget what the Australian government said. It's irrelevant.